Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Joyce and her family, I'd like to thank you for attending this tribute to Mel. A special thanks to those who traveled a distance to attend today's celebration of Mel's life. From Calgary, Myron and Rose. From California, granddaughter Christina. From Victoria, stepson Ken. From North Van, son Ray. From Chilliwack, brothers Keith and Cliff, sister-in-law Heather. From the Lower Mainland, nieces Sandy and Sherry. From the Okanagan Valley, daughter Melinda, her husband Harold, Betty Jean, her husband John, and stepson Kevin and Caroline from Kelowna. So, my name is Lenora. I have the honor of speaking for the family today. Melvin Raymond Alexander Rich was born January 27, 1934 in New Westminster, BC, to Ray and Eileen Rich, who was the first of 3 sons. Mel was raised and went to school in the Lower Mainland. Then he worked for and learned the meat cutting trade from his father, who had learned it from his father before him. Mel married Rena Giesbrecht, and together they had 3 children, Melinda, Betty Jean, and Ray. He eventually started his own meat market in Haney, or Maple Ridge as it is now known, and ran it successfully for several years. In the meantime, brother Cliff had purchased a Mr. Mike's Steakhouse franchise in Chilliwack, and somehow it looked like a much easier way to make a living than in the cold butcher shop. So when the Penticton Mr. Mike's became available, Mel was quick to say yes to the opportunity. Pick me. He was behind the grill is where he worked for the next several years. His younger brother Keith was the next one to get a Mr. Mike's, and then a cousin, and then another relative. Soon, going to a Mr. Mike's Steakhouse convention was like a family reunion. Many of the years working at the restaurant were good. Some of them were lean years, but they all left good memories. Mel had a lot of changes in his life over the years. In 1984, he married Joyce, and thereby became stepfather to 4 more children, Sandy, Ken, Kevin, and Debbie. This made for some pretty hectic Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and birthday gatherings. Since most of the kids were grown and working, they never knew how many would show up. But it was usually a full house and, of course, lots of fun. So we will now listen to Christina, Mel's granddaughter, sing.
Thank you, Lenora. So good to be here, everyone. I'm just so grateful to be in this room with all of you. And this is a song that Grandma and I were talking just a couple months ago. She said, "Do you want to sing a second song?" So this is that second song. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still waiting in the silence until you come and sit away. with me. You raised me up where I could stand on mountains. You raised me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. So, here's song number 1, and this song I was having a conversation with Grandpa February 6, 2020, and I said, what do you want me to sing? Because he asked me years ago. And I knew that I wouldn't miss it and I would be here to do that. And he said, oh, I don't know, how about Amazing Grace? So, not a great mimic of his voice, but pretty close. And I thought it was perfect. And loved that he thought of that because it's such a powerful song. Yeah, just a little bit louder, please. Just a little bit louder. Music. Yeah. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace relieved my fears. How precious was that grace appeared the hour I first believed. Many toils, dangers, and snares I have already come. Grace that kept me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise. And when we first begun, and that's if you want it sung again, but that's the end of the recording. What an honor to have this family. I'm so thankful for all of you. And Grandpa was very proud of his family. He loved everybody, and he loved having everyone together. So I know this is making him very happy. And this opportunity to sing a song like that, and asked by him, he was quiet about faith, but when it came to moments in the day that he did go on, we had a special moment, and that song is about that moment. I got to ask Grandpa if he does believe, and he said yes. Yes, I do, and I know that I'm going to be in a much nicer place. And the words to that song, talking about we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun, hit me in a different way this morning as I was going over them. Life doesn't end here. death is a part of life, and it's the hardest thing. But as Graham and I were talking about this morning, we know he's in that nicer place that he talked about, and it's because of the grace of God. And in that song, when I sang Amazing Grace, I didn't take it lightly because that grace saved me and is available to everybody. And so it doesn't end here when you have that grace. Life continues and it's eternal. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but will have everlasting life. And so it just takes believing. And I stand here with so much peace, knowing that this incredibly strong man that you could get on his shoulders, I think I did many times, and all of us kids had that and has that life now. So, all my love to you, Grandma.
Beautiful. Thank you, Christina. Get it down where it's my level now. Sorry, I need a deep breath. It was beautiful. Okay, so now I will focus on the many aspects of Mel's life. Mel was a great friend to many people. Jerry and I considered him to be a super friend. We first met Mel and Joyce at a Mr. Mike's convention, and soon found ourselves adopted by the Rich family. At these annual conventions, we learned a lot about operating a Mr. Mike franchise, not from the speakers, but from the three brothers who had novel ways to increase productivity and efficiency. When we sold our franchise in 100 Mile House and moved to Penticton, we were once again adopted by the Rich family. Not as hard-working restaurateurs, but fun-loving gyros. Actually, we became shirt-tail relatives and attended many of the aforementioned celebrations. Mel was an avid sports fan, but his favorite was hockey. He played as a youngster and later coached and managed young teams. He and Joyce seldom missed a Penticton Bees game and always had season's tickets. So Mel was very disappointed when he was unable to attend the last couple of seasons. Thankfully, he was able to watch the NHL games, and he also enjoyed watching football and basketball, but hockey was his favorite. Gary Brim, a fellow hockey enthusiast and good friend, will now say a few words.
I'm here today to celebrate the life of Mel. So here we go. Good morning, folks. It's a beautiful fall morning. A lovely day. So the passing of a real, genuine man of compassion is what brings us out the good. The things that he believed in, the sport of hockey. He was really into it from the get-go, minor hockey, all the way up to the juniors. always there if help was needed, coaching or doing what could be done to benefit the team structure. Mel was an avid fan of the junior hockey scene from the get-go, and also to the Penticton Panthers all the way up to the V's. Knowing his support for hockey, he had bought season tickets for many, many years, the both of us together. Hockey he really enjoyed, watching the juniors, and I had a good time with him also. We attended lots of games with Joyce and the family. We called ourselves the family hockey fans, enjoying the hot chocolate and the popcorn between periods, soaking up the atmosphere in the arena, and predicting the final scores of the hockey games. We had a little side bets on that, so it's kind of cute. He was a true hockey fan for now and forever. I thank you, Mal. You are in all of our thoughts and hearts today and forever. God bless you. Thank you.
I hope you all notice the hockey. Oh, they're golf clubs. They're not hockey. Oh, well, there you go. That's golf, yeah. Okay. The International Gyro Friendship Club was another love of Mel's life. He was a member for 43 years and served often as president and several times as director until the club folded a few years ago. He made many good friends, some who are here today. Mel was often credited with introducing many new members to the club. He and Joyce traveled extensively in District 4 from Vancouver, Washington to Kitimat, BC, bringing greetings and friendship on behalf of the Penticton Club. Whenever there was a gyro gathering involving food, you can bet that Mel was the first to volunteer. He bought the food, he cooked the food, he helped set up, he helped take down the tables and chairs and the rest. Mel and Joyce loved camping locally and in Yuma. An annual highlight was the fishing trip to Loon Lake with Keith and Kathy. Another was the cross-Canada trip they took in 2004, where he continually marveled at the big, wonderful country they live in. They also enjoyed many trips to Blue Sky RV Park with Lloyd and Pat Hansen as mentors. And now Pat and Lloyd will share some of the details of the times the two had traveling together.
Good morning, everybody. When asked to say a few words about RVing with Mel and Joyce, so many thoughts came to mind. There were a few of those thoughts we want to share with you. Lloyd and I had known Mel and Joyce for several years, thanks to Gyro, but it wasn't until they purchased an RV and started camping and traveling with us that we really got to know them. We had a lot of good times, both activities. The first winter after selling the strikes, Mel and Joyce came south with us to Yuma. They traveled in their car but slept and ate in our RV. This started the good night Mel, good night Joyce, good night Lloyd, good night Pat, just like the Waltons did on TV. I guess they enjoyed it because by next winter they had their own RV and that was the beginning of many trips south to Yuma together. We all know that Mel liked being with people, having a party, and dancing. At Blue Sky, the RV park where we stayed, there there was always a Saturday night dance. Mel was the one that got us going to these pretty much every week, and we did have fun at them with a wonderful bunch of people who became friends. He was also the one that started playing shuffleboard and several mornings a week and urged us to all get involved. Mel loved to golf, and it wasn't long before he joined in with the men from the park to golf once a week. He encouraged the rest of us to golf with a couple group every Saturday morning, and we had a good time doing that with everyone, thanks to his encouragement. His reputation as a grill cook, Mr. Mike's followed him south, and he was soon invited to help cook the burgers and the hot dogs on the big park grills for the weekly park happy hour. He really got right in and adopted the snowbird lifestyle. Talking of dancing, one year we were driving down in late December. This time we were sleeping in Mel and Joyce's unit, as our RV was already in Yuma. The Walton-style good nights started up again every evening. Because of poor weather conditions and road conditions, we ended up in Medford, Oregon for New Year's. After having a later dinner out, we went back to their RV. We decided that we were going to stay up and see the New Year in. Well, New Year's means partying and dancing, so that's what we did. The fact that we were in our PJs and there was only a small area for dancing didn't matter. We just danced anyway. An adventure we had with Mel and Joyce was our trip from Yuma to San Felipe in the Baja, Mexico. We traveled out together in our truck and stayed in a hotel that was anything but luxurious and caused a lot of laughs. We enjoyed the town and absorbing the local atmosphere. But on the way home, we got on the wrong road and ended up having to cross the border back into the U.S. to San Luis, a Mexican town we were unfamiliar with. When we realized we were in the wrong lane for the border, we changed lanes. We presumed that the local police did not like this, and as we were pulled out of line, but nobody spoke English, and we really didn't know what was going on. We eventually ended up at the local police station, where we were given a fine, and still no word of English to know why. Anyway, Lloyd and Mel had enough money to pay the fine, and we got the heck out of there. We were all stressed, and when we got back to the U.S., all four of us were ready to kneel and kiss the ground. Oh, jeez, wondered what I Our other jaunt to Mexico was the border town of Algodones, just south of Yuma, and they were fun. We enjoyed bantering and bartering with the stall sellers and having our favorite lunch of shrimp tacos and beer at a little street-side eatery. We camped locally during the summer, often along either the Ashnodda River or the Similkameen River, and often with several other friends, including Lenora and Jared. Normally, we would take walks and sit around sharing stories and talking. One time along the Similkameen, it got wet and cold, and that night we were all gathered in close to the campfire and drinking a little antifreeze to keep warm. When it was time for bed, Mel helped me up our steep camp steps. I remember thinking, why is he helping me? But when I put my head down and the world began to spin, I realized why. I guess he was keeping his eye on all of us. He cared about his friends. We also did some fishing together, and one of our favorite spots was along Jane Lake. When we arrived one weekend, we set up camp, including putting up a palapa, which is basically a tarp roof supported by several metal poles. Mel and Lloyd went out fishing, and a thunderstorm rolled in while they were still out on the lake. So Joyce and I started up the campfire, knowing they would be chilly. When the guys came ashore, they made a beeline for the campfire. But unfortunately, Mel hit the edge of the palapa, and all the rainwater that had collected on the tarp came sloshing down on him. Well, the three of us were in hysterics, but Mel was soaking wet. These are just a few of the thoughts that come to mind when thinking of our years of RVing with Mel and Joyce, and they are special memories. Rest peacefully, Mel. We hope you have found folks to RV with up there where you are. We miss you. Love, Pat and Lloyd.
Very old, Jack.
Okay, now please enjoy a trip down memory lane through this 7-minute video. I hope somebody behind the curtain is turning it on. Yep. Okay.
Last night I had a crazy dream. Wish was granted just for me. It could be for anything. I didn't ask for money or a mansion in Malibu. I simply wished for one more day with you. One more day. One more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. One more day. First thing I do is pray for time to crawl. I'd unplug the telephone, keep the TV off. I'd hold you every second, say 1,000,000 I love yous. That's what I do with one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day. Leave me wishing still for one more day. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. One more day, one more day.
When I think back on these times and the dreams we left behind, I'll be glad 'cause I was blessed to get to have you in my life. When I look back on these days, I'll look and see your face. you were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. And everywhere I am there you'll be. Will you show me how it feels to feel the sky within my reach? And I always will remember all the strength you gave to me. Your love made me make it through. Oh, I owe so much to you. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. 'Cause I always saw in you my light, my strength. And I wanna thank you now for all the ways you were right there for me. You were right there for me. In my dreams I'll always see you soar above the sky. In my heart there'll always be a place for you for all my life. I'll keep a part of you with me, and everywhere I am there you'll be. And everywhere I am there you'll be. There you'll be.
Okay, next we have a few words from family members. Betty Jean is going to read. Yes?
Hi, everybody. So good to be here with you all. There's written in here what I would have spoken from my heart, and it really would come from my heart. But I was with Dad just the last week that he passed away, because I had been in LA, and I just got home on the 31st of January, and I went right over to Dad's and Joyce's and just said, you know, I just want to spend some time with Dad. And I did, and I had some really quality time, so I was really, really grateful for that. But what I want to read is something that would come from my heart, but if you want to read along with me, I invite you to. Otherwise, I will just read it. So I'm going to put Dad in front of it. So I'm going to say, Dad, God saw you getting tired. When God saw you getting tired, and a cure was not to be, he put his arms around you and he whispered, come to me. He didn't like what you went through, and he gave you rest. His garden must be beautiful, and because he only takes the best. And when we saw you sleeping so peaceful and free from pain, we wouldn't wish you back to suffer that again. today we say goodbye, and as you take final rest, that garden must be beautiful because you are one of the best. That's my dad. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Mel's son, Raymond.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I can't sing, and I'm not retired, but I'll tell you after that speech from Pat and Lloyd, I sure wish I was. Anyway, I'm here to share something that is kind of close to, very close to me and my dad. I'm here to share a few fond memories of my dad. I think really the fondest memory and everlasting bond that endeared thereafter was the passing down of the rich ring. I don't know if you know the rich ring, but it's a ring that's been passed down from the elders over the years. If you can see it. And really, the qualities need to be up with the ring. It was funny because after I got it, I put it in my safety deposit box for about 10 years to make sure I'd never lose it and continue the legacy. Then golfing one day, Dad asked me, "Where's the ring, silly?" I told him the safety deposit box. He said it's meant to be worn. So as soon as I got back to Vancouver, I put it on about 30 years ago, and I've never taken it off. Really, over the years, it has given me strength and comfort in uncertain times, knowing that my dad is by my side, as I trust it will for my son Nicholas. So me and my dad, we had a loving and heartfelt relationship that really only the universe and me will ever know. To be honest, I really wish I had been able to spend more time with my dad for a random coffee or just hanging out, but living in Vancouver, it really wasn't meant to be. But with this ring, I know the universe had Dad watching over me. He always believed in me and supported me and my family. Dad had a heart of gold and a loving spirit, and to know my dad was to love him. Thank you.
Dean, one of the neighbors of Mel and Joyce, is going to share a few words.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to share a few words. I'm going to think them up on the spot. I didn't really have time to prep. But I'll tell you how first my lovely wife and I, Maria, met Mel. We came in 2003 and moved to Penticton. And I was young, naive, and as you all know, young people know everything already. I figured I knew everybody that I needed to know. I knew the kindest, nicest people. And then I met Mel and Joyce. They rocked my world. Just amazing. They always looked out for us, pardon me, and took care of us whenever we needed anything. I do remember lots of his fishing stories, and every time I go fishing, I still think of Mel and how he would always catch more fish than on a given weekend. We never fished together, but he always came back more than me. I do remember we had a cedar hedge, still there, between our houses. And there was a hole in the cedar hedges at the back, just big enough for us to pass our newborn daughter through. And we would give it to Mel and Joyce, and unfortunately they kept giving her back. I do remember the gyro parties. My wife and I would look jealously over at these massive parties, and I would go the next day and help clean up and enjoy some of the, it was moose juice or whatever it was called. It was Meals Milk, I'd come home with a jug of that every time. Thank you. And of course, all of the family that was there. To Mel and to Joyce, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Would anybody else like to share a little memory at this point? You're amongst friends, you don't have to be worried. No? Okay. Okay, so as a man, Mel was an easygoing guy, never one to argue, except the famous day that he planned a gyro golf tournament. And the staff at the club decided that we weren't allowed to use our own carts or our own passes and expected us to pay full price. Well, Mel wasn't going to take that. So he rounded us all up and off we went to the Copper Mug for a burger and beer, never giving a second thought to all the unserved food the club would have to deal with. Mel did not give up golfing because of that incident and was happy every Monday to go out with the gyros and every Wednesday with the seniors. It was hard watching Mel grow more weary and tired over the last couple of years and having to, one by one, give up the things he loved doing and the places he loved going. He never, ever complained. Even on entering hospice, one of the first things he said was, "Oh, that warm blanket feels so good." He was always finding something good in every situation. He was a gentle man and a gentleman right to the end. Whether it was camping, gyro, hockey, or family functions, Mel was always calm, happy, and smiling. He appreciated that he had Joyce by his side supporting him, working at the restaurant, hostessing gyro events, going to hockey games or camping. Most of all, for the loving care she faithfully gave him during the last few years. Okay, few announcements. Joyce would like to thank Greg and the staff of the Providence Funeral Home for the professional help and guidance. She would also like special thanks to Melinda, who's been there for her. Okay, so a graveside service will follow at 1 o'clock at the Lakeview Cemetery, 775 Lower Bench Road. Refreshments at the house after at 134 Nicholson Place. And please, Bob from the funeral home has a few things to say now. But please, if you didn't sign the guest book, would you please remember to sign it on the way out? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Lenora. Ladies and gentlemen, as Lenora already let us know, we are planning to have a graveside urn interment at 1 p.m. That just does give us a little bit of wiggle room as far as the time element is concerned. I would encourage anyone who does want to drive in procession with us and attend the graveside service. Take your time. Please use the washrooms before we go. Maybe take an opportunity to mingle amongst yourselves. We were going to have some fellowship time in between. Also, anyone who wants to just meet us up there, you're welcome to leave for the time being and make your own way up to the cemetery. But for the time being, anyone who wishes to stay together, you're welcome to join the family and share some memories of Mel. When we do get going in about probably about 30 minutes or so, I would encourage everyone to drive with headlights on, high beams and four-ways, and follow the funeral coach. We'll be driving in procession up Main Street. Thank you. And thank you all for attending today.
Anyone who doesn't wish to go to the cemetery can go directly to the house. 134 Nicholson. Thank you.